A true worshiper of Jesus is a spiritual Jew. I know thy work and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Just like the Ephesus period of time, church age, the true worshippers were true laborers, but now they were especially suffering for it. But Jesus reminds them that they are rich towards God, and that is what counts. Hearken, my beloved brethren, had not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he had promised to them that love him? James chapter 2, verse 5. Notice that back in the letter to the Ephesians, Jesus was addressing one audience, the saints. But now, in addition to the true saints of God, there is another audience of people that claim to be worshippers of God, but they are not, and they blaspheme. The definition of blasphemy, the act of insulting or showing contempt or lack of reverence for God. Now, right among the true worshippers are other worshippers who claim to love God first, but they really don't. They put on, but they do not really serve God. This is blasphemy or insulting and disrespectful towards God. But this condition is able to sneak in when the clear sevenfold light of the candlestick, representing the clear light of God's one standout through to Jesus' church, has been removed from its place. See previous post. Has the candlestick been removed from your heart? Do you remember when the candlestick place is supposed to be? It belongs in the temple. Today, the gospel teaches us where the temple is today. Know you not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple you are. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16 through 17. The candlestick's place belongs in the heart and minds of men and women, and the temple needs to individually and collectively as the church be kept holy. As a spiritual temple of the Lord, there is not supposed to be an unequal mixture with those who are not really serving God. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship had righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion had light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part had he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement had the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God, as God had said, I will dwell in them, and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 14 through 18. Without the fullness of a separate people with a true burning love for God that produced the sevenfold light of the candlestick, evil things, people with evil in their heart can sneak in pretenders and cause trouble right around God's true people. It is not just about having the right doctrine. It is about having both the right doctrine and a burning love and true unity in worshiping and serving God. Note, in the previous verse of Revelation chapter 2, verse 2 in Ephesus, they had the light of the seven candlesticks. Therefore, they were capable of discovering those that were false and those astray them which say they are apostles and are not, and has found them liars. But now there are false worshippers among them that they don't discern, nor are they successfully discovering them. But Jesus knows who they are. Without the full light of the Word and the Spirit in the church, we're the full light of the candlestick. Others will sneak and mix their way in. Without the full light of the faithful, holy, and true people, the candlestick, church of God, then you will not be able to discern or see how other people are entering into the church by another way. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. John chapter 10 verses 1 through 10. Notice, they say they are Jews. He is speaking of spiritual Jews, not physical ones of the flesh. He is speaking of people who claim to be saved children of God, but they really have evil in their heart. The Bible clearly spells out in the New Testament that the true Jews are those who are spiritual ones, those who have been cleansed by the blood of Jesus. For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, but he is Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God. Romans chapter 2, verses 28 through 29. Those who claim to be spiritual Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, implies this to gather to worship at a place of worship. They may claim that they are part of God's church, but God sees them as part of the devil's church, because they are not honoring and serving Him from a pure and true heart. Note, if not a spiritual Jew, as noted in Romans chapter 2, verse 29 above, then your heart is first towards the praise of men, what people want, and not God. The result is men becoming kings in the church, and no longer is Jesus being held as the king. This will always translate into eventual persecution and tribulation for the true worshippers of God, including a true ministry that is leading people in true, obedient worship. True worshippers choose to honor Jesus as king and not the men and women who want to be king. Note, this persecution and tribulation from so-called worshippers is what will always come next, and in past history, it was what also happened during the next Pergamus church age, spoken of starting in Revelation chapter 2, verse 12.